Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world of litigation to talk about a document that I think is very interesting. Now it delves into the fantasy of spin versus the reality of sourcing, or looking at what Dallas News put out the other day versus the reality of the source it came from. Now before we do get into this, however, if you do like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed to this channel. If you enjoy videos like this, make sure that you go out and share them with others. Make sure that the information is passed on. And if you want to do something, do more than complain about things that are out there that need to be changed. Support independent endeavors. I can't say that enough. We have ours in comic books, but it's also a message out there to so many. It says we can defy gatekeepers, and we surely can. We can go out, we can put our own thing out there, and these people, they can't stop us. You can join us if you want, and I'll talk about that more at the end of this video. So the judge's message. Now this was a very interesting one, considering what the Dallas Morning News tried to say here. They talked about, for example, how this stuff, when it comes together, the judge, he wants things mediated by October the 3rd. And if they're not mediated by October the 3rd, he's going to go out and make a decision on October the 4th. This concept, though, the way they spin it, it makes it sound like it was motivated by threat, when that's not the case. What he tells them is they're going to have to go in. They're going to have to try to do this, because if they don't, well then, he'll make a decision by the following day, because otherwise there's a weekend, and he has to make a decision. Interesting. But then again, this is brought to you by the same types of people that would crowdfund $350 in this case, or $1,200 in another document's case, just so they can watermark something because they think that that's some kind of kryptonite for you. I mean, that tells you quite a bit. I mean, it tells you really quite a bit about the people you're dealing with. What's also interesting here is that a message was left out of it. And the message in this was, I hope you people can heal the problems in the anime community. You see this noted here. I think there's a community out there, obviously, that is interested in this case. I think it might be. I mean, this isn't a TV show. This is real life stuff. This isn't an anime cartoon or something like that. And I don't know if people can distinguish between the two. So what I'm trying to say is I think y'all may owe a duty to this community, since y'all's clients are part of it, to try to get this case worked out. And that's a true statement. These people are not only part of that community, but they want money from said community. When they're out here, some of the stuff that they've said, oh yeah, I mean, it's caused division. It's caused fraction in ways I don't know if you can ever bring back. But they need to be out there. They need to be trying to put this behind us, because otherwise it just causes more friction, more tension, and well, they're the ones that get hit in the pocket in the end. Now here, too, it says, hey, before I rule on the rest of it, I'd rather you try to get this worked out. I think y'all have the opportunity to heal the community by doing something that y'all can all agree on, as opposed to having me do something, and then y'all having to appeal it and go through all that process, and it just comes back here again. I mean, this could go on for years. I'd rather just obviously see the community of anime get healed and move on and do what you need to do. Now, this message doesn't seem to be one that certain people out there grasp. I mean, take this from Jamie here. My entire case has been dismissed. The only reason to settle would be to avoid an appeal. I'm not at all worried about that, so it makes you wonder what they're going to bring to the table, considering they have none of the power. What they're bringing to the table is a possible resolution where community can be healed in this, where division that can actually be mended. But then again, all of this, it hasn't been about you to begin with. You say it is, but it's not. Now, the way the judge framed it, it was interesting because he does bring up appeal. But look at the way that he brings this in. You have the lawyer for Jamie Marquis say, "In your honor, if I may, does this include Jamie Marquis? The court has ruled to dismiss all the claims against her. I just want to make sure of that." And the judge says, I think she should show up, because there's no guarantee you're not going to be back here in 3 months on an appeal. So you have that stated, hey, it might be in your benefit to go ahead and look for resolution, because otherwise you may just end up here. And that's very, very true. I mean, when you're looking at this, you need to look at it as a long game. You're not looking at the decision that was thrown out there in the immediate actually ending everything. In fact, as this said, and we talked about there, it could go on for years. Now, there was another statement in here that I thought was interesting too. It's aimed at talking about her, but when you look at this statement and you imagine who it's for, there could be a very interesting message in this. So look at this statement by the judge. Based on her standing, again talking about Jamie, in the case, she may be in better position than some. But I think if it happens to work out, you can do it by phone, I don't care. So I took this first part here and I thought, wow, am I reading more into it than I should? Because she may be in better position than some, meaning other people there. Yeah, they may be looking at the long game. It looks like what you see there is a statement that may indeed say this is going to carry forward. See, when I looked at that at the first time, I thought, wow, that actually does seem like it carries weight. It seems like it talks about culpability. And well, when you look at it a few times within that, yeah, it doesn't seem to change. I mean, again, it may be reading something into something finite, but isn't that the way that this stuff goes anyhow? Now, sadly, I don't think that anything will be gained from this. I think we'll go to mediation. I think there will be no resolution within that. And I think that you'll end up on October the 4th hearing what the judge has to say. And that's okay. I mean, that's at least trying something there, but I don't think that these people actually care what happens to the anime community. They haven't cared about it when they drug all of this forward. They haven't cared about it as they've gone out and disparaged their consumers. And they haven't cared about it as they made statement after statement telling you basically you don't belong. Not only that, they've brought in a multitude of folks to tell you your place. So when it comes to going out and healing any fracture, no, they don't worry about that at all. In fact, negativity has worked for clout for some of this. When you look at the discussion that this stuff was based on, they were talking about in here threats. That was the thing that was brought up at the very beginning, the idea that there had been threats. Now that's crazy, as I've said with many other things, but beyond that, it does show you that there is a divide, whether that be people going out and pretending to be other people, whether that be crazies interacting, whatever, it still shows, as the judge says, that this is real life. People out there are watching. They're interested, and they're interested because you've divided this community. Now, maybe it's just me, but I find that particularly sad when we have a judge that can see it. It's something that we've been talking about for a while, but an outsider here looks at it. The outsider can see how that causes a rift. And as he says to these people, this is owed to that community because, you owe this a duty since you are a part of it. Their part is providing a product. And your part, well, that's deciding whether or not you want to pick that up. But anyhow, I'm wondering what you see in this. I mean, when you look at that statement, do you think, first of all, with the judge there, what do you think about that? When you look at the statement about Marquis, going in and actually being part of that and looking at the appeal thing, what do you think about that statement too? And finally, when you look at the other part and being in better standing than other parties, what do you think that means? I'm curious. Do you think that this stuff will go forward? I mean, for myself, I'm thinking, hey, if it doesn't, there is no justice in the world. So it better go forward. I mean, really, if it doesn't, I'll be very, very disappointed. But anyhow, you let me know what you think on that. So as I said at the beginning of the video, like this content, make sure you're subbed. Pass these videos on because I believe information is power, and helping this stuff out there, yeah, it tells everyone what's going on. Beyond that, if you want to look at the things in the description, all of those links, they help out the channel in different ways. Now, this one here, the case of the Littlest Umbrella, it not only rarely does that, but it sends a message to gatekeepers saying we can walk our own way. You see these companies out there, these people that are causing rifts and divide. That's how you talk to them. You don't talk to them by going directly and communicating anger or angst. What you do is you take your money, you pull it from that and you put it somewhere else, and you tell them, yeah, this is what I think. When you do that and you post about it and on, sooner or later they get the message. But if they don't get the message and you don't want to continue with them, it doesn't matter there. That's how you move. This is our all ages Lovecraftian tale, by the way. There's also another comic book attached to it. Make sure when you look through it that you pick up everything if you want to back. That way, you don't have to change up things later. Also, tell me what you think about this stuff, pro or con. When you see those, again, I am interested in what you think on that. Is there a message there? Do you think this stuff will go forward? Finally, I want to say that thank you for empowering this endeavor. Many people forget. They've forgotten, and well, when they lose out, that's their business. As we've moved forward, well, I think there's many positives in the future. I think that we'll be looking at Mignogna opening up his own studio. I think a lot of stuff will come up. But I want to end by saying thank you. I do appreciate you, and we'll be doing this again very soon.